So actually, like, if you're not failing, are you even trying?
Yeah.
Like, so
Welcome to the Just Pull the Trigger podcast.
We talk to people who have made the pivot, whether in business, career or life.
And find out what happens when you stop overthinking and just go for it. On today's episode, we've got Matt Holland, country clothing juggernaut. Matt explains why structure is so important for a family business, why you should be failing, and how Lee's been wasting 3 years doing cold showers all the wrong way.
I mean, podcasting's great because you just get to have a conversation, and it's like almost like the thing I really like about it is like a time stamp of yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not vain, maybe it is vain, but then you can go back and you can listen to an episode from a year ago and go, oh, that's interesting. I was thinking,
can tell what headspace
God,
you're in.
my headspace there, why was I worrying about that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like journaling, if you like.
I think it's kind of therapy. To be honest with you.
100%. Yeah.
And what I like about yours is with you and Charlie that, you know, Charlie's sort of like your business is maybe a little bit further down the line to his, but you have that sort of yin and yang. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would describe the difference in mine and Charlie's businesses is that I'm a big small business.
Yeah.
And he's a small business. Do you know what I mean? So we're in the SME space.
Yeah.
And it's very relatable.
Yep.
Whereas when I think you start going into like 20, 30 million quid, it becomes very corporate, in my opinion, from an outsider looking into that space, because I'm in that 10 to 20 bracket. Yeah. And yeah, the excitement and I think the real entrepreneurial kind of joy, I think it's actually when it's, well, for me anyway, it was when it was really difficult.
Yeah.
When it was like really challenging problem solving under time pressure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think we've got a supplier actually for our strings business to Dario. And you know Simon, I remember him saying, because he basically, there was this brand, American brand, and he basically created the UK distribution solely for this brand. And he was, I remember him saying, he goes, now I just speak to bloody like lawyers and stuff like that. He goes, that's the whole corporate thing, you know, they've got to a certain size. He goes, I get the feeling he's bored sort of on a more daily basis than he is sort of fired up to get, I'm solving that problem, you know, and those kind of things.
I really relate to that. Like my business, so group of online retailers for people listening, family run business. I run it with my brother Robert and my sister Sarah, so proper family business, family affair. They're more involved in the day-to-day operation, liaising with the suppliers, and then I'm kind of in this role now where I'm dealing with the accountant, dealing with the solicitor, speaking to people at Antares Finance, and trying to do, I suppose, business development, if you like. Yep. And the business development for me has been an enjoyable thing to learn and become and like improve as a craft, work towards my 10,000 hours in that kind of area. But I've missed the grit,
the dirty hand sort of job.
Yeah, and they kind of, I think sometimes they look at me and they go, oh, Matt, I know they don't, but sometimes they're like, Matt's in his little ivory tower, or maybe it's my own paranoia, this, I don't know. And then I'm like, look, and ironically, I'm looking at them with like envy almost, because Sarah's now managing all the supplier relations and getting all those kind of conversations in, which is hard. It's really hard. Like, we've got over 100 suppliers. And we probably need to hire into that team. Sarah needs probably a bit of a lieutenant or what have you. But I do miss those things. We did a trade show at the weekend, and we were kind of mixing with it was a direct consumer show, so people could buy from people that we weren't actually selling. We were doing a big giveaway for Holland's Country Clothing, one of our sites. Like £1,000 worth of gear and to enter a competition kind of thing. And we were kind of chatting with the punters, and then suppliers were coming on, and I was like, I miss this.
Yeah, I used to love doing. I mean, we don't really do it so much anymore, do we? But I used to love doing shows, and I think we used to go into it with maybe a different mindset for the guitar stuff. It's like people would. This was probably 5-10 years ago. People would want to make money out of it. And I just don't think really you do those shows. People go to those shows that they want a discount. You know, they're quite expensive to put on in themselves, aren't they? So, I mean, we have been talking about it recently, and I think you know, maybe even just having a stand where we can create some content for Strings Direct, where the guitarists come on and we have a chat with them or something like that. You know?
Yeah, you could be the almost one of your clients, Pete with Happy Stride. Yeah. I've listened to a couple of his podcasts, and I think he's doing a really great thing because he's kind of positioned himself as a niche kind of authority or having interesting conversations within the space.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you guys could do that with the guitar string
Absolutely,
business.
yeah. I mean, he always says to me, I want to bring different people in.
Yeah.
You know, so he's had a running coach, then he's had like a influencer.
Yeah. But it all needs to be around the running space.
Absolutely, yeah,
You
yeah.
need to stay within the niche, because as soon as you start bringing on, say, I don't know, Matt Holland, who does a bit of running.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, really.
Becomes a bit wishy-washy.
What's this guy
Yeah.
doing? Yeah.
So the family business,
Yeah.
you sort of touched on it there with the
Yeah.
ivory tower comment. Is there any sort of well, how do you find it? I mean, me and Lee, we sort of like, we're quite good together because we bring different things to the table.
Yeah.
And we're both reasonably calm, would you say?
Yeah. I mean, talking from a management perspective, we're not like rule with an iron fist kind of thing. We're quite sort of laid back.
Yeah.
And as long as the job gets done and people are happy and doing things right,
Yeah.
you know, you don't need to sort of go in with, you know, all guns blazing.
Family businesses are complicated. Like, I mean, you guys, it's a very political kind of stance that I'm sure there's friction points at time, and you might not always get on. And it's the same in our business. Like me, Sarah, and Rob, we've built something. I mean, I think it's impressive, and I'm very proud of what we've done as a family and as a team, and as not just like brothers and sisters, but as like directors. It's like, but the family dynamic creates challenges because you can be more direct with your brother and sister, and you kind of. Whereas if it was just a normal director, you can't say stuff. Thank you. So sometimes I get told straight, and that's good, and I maybe say things straight as well, and that, I think that removes the BS sometimes. But like what you've said there, you bring different things to the table. So like I'm managing director, Sarah and Robert are directors, and so we're all shareholders as well, but we all do different things. But in the past we haven't. Right. And that's when it's been, I think, challenging. So like supplier relations, and as an example, I think there's been moments where we've maybe I probably stood on Sarah's toes a little bit with some of the suppliers that she would manage relationships with, and actually I think a big thing for family businesses is trying to put some structure in so that you've kind of got more clearly defined roles.
Like right bums on seats. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Sarah's a very charismatic individual. She's confident and she's very intelligent, and she's really capable. Like if it was me and Sarah sat here today, she'd be dominating the conversation. Right. She's very confident. She's good at speaking, and I felt that she was right to manage those supplier relations, and that I should probably step back from it because I can do those things. I'm more of a Swiss Army knife. I'm pretty average at everything, I would say. Whereas she's got some good strengths in those areas. So it's learning and I think family businesses need to go, right, people need to be willing to step back.
Yeah.
So I've taken a step back in that area. My brother's like very technically minded. He likes to be very organised. He's process driven. He likes putting systems in place.
Shooting it.
Yeah, so he's that. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I love that.
And I'm a bit of both of them, which is actually
I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's taken a while for me to actually go, that's actually like, it's okay to be like that, because he's much more the entrepreneurial one, and he comes up with all these ideas, and I'm like, I wish I came up with ideas.
That's exactly how Robert describes it. It's like Matt will come up with something, and then I'll actually do it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I say. We always joke because it's almost true to the numbers. I'll come up with 100 ideas and 99 will be absolute shit.
Yeah.
And then that one we'll put into place, and it'll make a difference.
And that's the beauty of a family business is, yes, there's turbulent times and challenges, and we've had our own challenges in the business, but like Sarah has got her skill set, and I've learned to respect that more and more and appreciate her more and more. And then Robert is the same, and but it takes time to get there. And we've worked together I've been in the business 12 years. Sarah's been in around 8, I think. Rob's done about 4 or 5. So we've all joined at different times of growth. We've learned to, and we're different ages as well.
Oh, really? So you're not
So I'm 7 years older than Rob, and I'm 2 years, 18 months older than Sarah.
So it's not quite generational, because I was going to ask, like with us, I think whenever we've butted heads, it's probably been with, he's not so much in the business anymore, but Dad really, isn't it? Because he was generationally, he had a different mindset. He might have been a bit older, and he maybe didn't want to push as hard as us or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I suppose for people listening to kind of take a step back and start from the beginning, if you like.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So originally it was Holland's Country Clothing and Holland's Workwear. That was the business that my grandfather set up. So we come from a farming background. We live on the family farm now. Our warehouse is on the family farm now. We are currently buying a new warehouse to continue the expansion, and that's off site. But Malcolm set it up. He was selling like wellies at an agricultural market alongside his hay and straw. And
Malcolm was your granddad, right?
Malcolm was my granddad, yeah. Sorry, yeah. So Malcolm Holland, my grandfather. I never met him. He died before I was born.
Right.
And that was in like 78, early 80s. So he started doing country shows and markets. But I think, and I never met him, but from what Mark and my mum says, so my uncle and my mother, they kind of talk about their father as being perhaps a little bit all over the place, but I view it as being very entrepreneurial. I think he had lots of great ideas, but didn't really have the staying power. He didn't have the brother or the brother and sister to kind of, right, let's actually make this work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened with the business was he bought a car garage and did other random stuff and bought some property, and he was importing Russian tractor cabs at one point because, I don't know, there's just like something going on. So, Mark came out of uni, my uncle, and started doing the countries and markets and shows for him. And Mark did that so Mark's still involved in the business, but he's kind of semi-retired now, and he did that for years. And then in 2001, foot and mouth crisis hit, which is similar to actually the pandemic in a way, but there was no furlough scheme. So all of the country shows and markets were not allowed to happen because of the spread of foot and mouth in the UK. So they just were like closed down. And then people had these businesses that were just like, all of a sudden, there's no money coming in.
Defunct, yeah.
So it's very similar to the pandemic. So what Mark did was he went off to college and learned how to do HTML. So he made a very important step in our business's, I suppose, history to kind of make that pivot. And he started doing mail order at that time. We were back on, I'm not sure how long you guys have been in e-commerce, but it was like a Dreamweaver HTML hosted website before content management systems. So it was pretty archaic looking back now.
99 we had our first website, I think.
Yeah, so similar time, and it was like a PayPal inventory button management system. So like,
and there was no we had no inventory management system. We was just stuff on the shelves.
Yeah.
And me and Dad used to you were at school, weren't you?
At the time, yeah, early days.
We used to modem dial up, so we'd get and then you just wait to see if there was an email.
Yeah.
Right, and the email had all the order
You'd
on
print
it.
off the email, enter it manually.
No, I think we were right.
Oh, you were right.
We were
right.
right.
Hammering it on, and then had like the old Royal Mail like
Rubber
stamp.
stamp sort of thing.
That I always thought to myself, they never checked it. You could just stamp anything and send it, you know. So it was definitely.
You see, that's all really nostalgic for me because when I joined the business, it was like that. So what happened was Mark started doing the direct mail, and he was still doing the country shows and markets, but he was kind of foot and mouth kind of contracted, kind of settled down. They started doing the country shows and markets, so he developed this HTML knowledge and he built a website and he was doing some bits and pieces, but he was still addicted to the revenue from the shows, and he liked being on the road, I think, and it was stable and he understood it, and online retail wasn't
there was no growth there at the time.
Kind of returned to that, and then the online retail just steadily grew in the background organically.
Through no marketing.
Well, there was no paid advertising at that stage because originally Google Ads was free. Yeah, that's how they introduced it, which you'll remember.
We were doing it was just off the back of magazine.
Mark was it was just Google's front page in terms of like people would type in search terms and somehow the website was. It was very authentic SEO, if you like. It was just the website had good content, good copy, and it had an About Us page, and it started ranking for things. So we started ranking for the keyword country clothing in the UK, and we've kind of held that keyword for a very long period of time now in terms of being on the front page and being in the position 1, 2 or 3, and because of that we've just become well known.
Yeah.
But what happened was in 2014 I'd kind of graduated uni. I'd gone off and done a graduate program with McDonald's for a couple of years, and it was a really good experience for us. A lot of my, I suppose, business knowledge and insights and kind of numbers and operations, because I'm very operationally kind of minded. But like I said, I'm a Swiss Army knife. I'm kind of average at anything. So if Robert and Sarah are here, they'd kind of roll their eyes a little bit because I'm probably not great at anything. But I left McDonald's and basically said to Mark, I said, I think maybe I can join you. And he kind of said the same. He didn't want to do the picking and packing anymore. He didn't want to do any of the orders. So at the time we were doing about 180 grand a year, and I joined as an employee. And
that was 2014.
2014,
right.
yeah. So the business has gone through significant growth over that 12-year period. And I would say one of the major challenges in our business, like any business, has been cash flow
Yeah.
over the years. So like we've always grown at a massive rate of knots because my view was there was no systems in place in the business, so I started systemizing things and improving things, and we were doing like handwritten Royal Mail labels. We were packing the parcels on my grandma's kitchen table, and the stock was stored in an agricultural barn on the farm. Like that's how it was. On pallets, and it was a dirt floor. Like, and now that warehouse is like barcode scanners, concrete, blue Corex. It's like a slit. It runs 24/7 in pink in winter. It's like it's an insane thing that we've built, and I forget that we were packing on my grandma's table.
Yeah, when you think about it, when you say it, I very, very rarely think about those old days where it was just a shoebox and me and Dad sitting there with one rack of strings. You know.
Yeah, I mean, looking around your operation here today, it's like it's a slick, systemized approach, and technology is a big part of that, obviously. So is like putting the process in and putting the order in. And I think sometimes businesses forget that the basics work.
Yeah.
That's a big thing that I'm a big believer on, processes. And I mean, these days we have all these like operating procedures, and we have checklists, and that's how you hire and scale a business, in my opinion, or a small business.
I mean, a lot of the times, even now, sometimes when something goes wrong, I kind of like it because it gives you a chance to make it better. You know, like we've had a few instances recently that just something went wrong. You know. With regards to packing or whatever, and then you just put a little process in and it's done. And it's just those building blocks, I find.
Yeah, that's what I love about business, actually, is that we're all learning all the time. And I was saying to you before we started filming the pre-chat, if you like. Like you speaking to other business owners, I think for people listening, or the best thing you can do to grow as an entrepreneur or an individual is to speak to other business owners, big and small. Like speaking to a bigger business is not necessarily a great thing to do, in my opinion, because it might not be relatable to your size. And actually, I sometimes speak to smaller business owners, and I'm like, well, I can't really. I'm removed from that now. I can't give you my 2 pence or whatever it might be. Whereas, flip it on the head, it's then sometimes the conversation with that smaller business owner is like, oh, that's interesting, I'm going to steal that idea and deploy it over there. So sometimes the conversations work, but my view is speaking to other business owners is like the best thing you can do.
I don't even think it's I agree with that, but I don't even think it's just other business owners. Like sometimes the employees, like, you know, I always say to Lee, you've got to be forever the student, because like you met my mum downstairs, she's 73, right?
The landlady.
The landlady, the real owner of the business. And she'll come to me and go, yeah, Paul, I've got an idea. And to be honest with you, most of the time I'm just like, I bypass it. But then she'll say something and you'll just go, do you know what? That's actually not a bad idea.
Because they see it through very different eyes.
Different perspective,
Whereas sometimes you're purely like business minded. They're more practical, and
you're in it all the time, aren't you? You can't see the wood.
And someone has said they are an expert at their job because they're doing it every day. You can come in with your ideas and go, what? They might say, well, that actually doesn't work because we don't do it like that.
You're correct, and I think the responsibility of the employee or the people within the business is to make the day-to-day work and happen at a certain level, but then the challenge and responsibility of the business owner or the entrepreneur is to challenge the status quo. So it's kind of like a constant pulling of a string, if you like, to go, well, okay, you think that's the best way, but why don't we try it this way as well? Just to A/B test and see what it's like. And also it works the other way around as well, because the business owner might put a silly process in place and then it's like, but Matt, you're not really involved. When was the last time you packed an order? Why are we doing it that way?
Yeah.
And that's where you're right in terms of getting that feedback loop in from the...
It's an evolving, breathing thing, isn't it?
This is why I love it, because it's so interesting.
We had a few post Raw Mail guys dropping off, and they're like, the bloody bods, Ivory Tower guys have put this process involved. They guys just don't know why they've done
board
this.
Of directors,
someone who's come up with this idea in a suit, and now we've got to do this, and it's just completely impractical.
Well, it's funny because like Royal Mail, we get collected on a 7.5 ton lorry, and when we were down, we had a unit down in Wythenshawe a few years ago, and we had problems and challenges, and we moved back to the farm, but that was near Manchester Airport for people listening. But so we had an 18 ton with a tail lift, and then tail lift, and then this is like a 7.5 tonner now that collects from the farm due to access challenges. But basically, the policy is only 2 Yorks. So Royal Mail Yorks are like these steel cages for people listening that don't know. You wheel them on, and then they go up on the telly. The policy is only 2.
Right.
So
What do you mean onan 2?
So you're only
Weight-wise.
allowed 2 Yorks
on the
But then if
on
they're
the telly.
collecting 25, 30 Yorks from our business say every day, well, how long is that going to take?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like, so the Royal Mail workers are like, right, well, we've got to sign a policy to say that we're only allowed to load 2 Yorks on at a time, but then they're also saying to us we need to collect in 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah.
So it's like, but the point is that sometimes policy, but it's because of health and safety.
Yeah,
not
of
like
course,
BS.
yeah.
So there's like one Royal Mail driver that will load 2 at a time. Everyone else is putting 6 on, and it's like creaking.
Yeah. So you said when you joined the business, it was about 180k, you reckon?
Yeah.
And it's grown, obviously.
Yeah, so we've grown. We're doing over 10 million quid. We'll probably like, I think the goal really the next. So we're now effectively, we're not just Holland's Country Clothing. The business has kind of evolved, and we've got like a group structure in place, and there's different companies within the group doing different things for the main business, and then potentially there's like we offer a service to one of our suppliers. It's kind of like 3PL, but it's more integrated than that. So we run the direct consumer website for Tough Stuff Workwear. So the business has evolved and changed, but the main thing is like, I think there's significant growth opportunities. So I'd say in the next 5 years, we'll probably the next 2 years will probably be hit 2 or 3 years will probably hit 20, and then I think we'll probably start to slow down a little bit there unless we acquire another online. I think we want to basically probably have a group of online retail businesses. We've got 5 now, and we'll probably grow them, and then maybe bolt some. Or maybe a direct consumer brand, or we might create a direct consumer brand. We're working on a little projects at the moment with something like that. So
you're a reseller by.
We're a retailer, yeah. So I always describe it as direct consumer retail, and direct consumer brands, and a lot of agencies that we all will have come into contact with, they really don't understand that, but it's 2 very different business models, online retail. So people that are not running online retailers, the 2 major costs in online retail are advertising spend and labour cost, in my opinion. And probably IT, software and consumables after that.
I would say, marketing and labour.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So, but if you are a direct consumer brand, you've typically got a bigger gross profit margin.
Yeah.
So then what happens? And it's just, I mean, you all end up netting off the same between 5 and 10% net profit. That's the way business works. But for those 2 models, the direct consumer brands, they might have a 50, 60% gross profit, but they end up spending 25% on ads.
Yeah.
And it's because they're competing with other direct consumer brands who can afford to spend it. So they end up spending it. So the only person that benefits from that extra GP is Google.
It's Meta,
And Meta. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas we, on a direct consumer retailer perspective, we're buying other people's product.
Yeah. They're doing the marketing for you.
They're doing the marketing, they're doing the product development, they're doing the sourcing, they're bringing it in from China or wherever it's made, or Europe or whatever, and then it's landing in their warehouse, and then we're buying, and then we're selling it for them. And we're probably positioned with Holland's Country Clothing as probably one of the, for a lot of our suppliers, we're their biggest customer, and then there's a lot of new brands within the country clothing space that we can probably work with. Not loads, probably there's like maybe 5 or 10 that we want to work with, that are more like premium level. But we work with a few premium brands now, so we'll add those on over the next few years. And then once that's kind of done, it's a case of just gobbling up more market share and trying to, unfortunately, force the competition out, which is what we will aim to do.
So with that rapid growth, and obviously you've experienced it from on many different levels, like so the 1 million, the 5 million. Was there a sweet spot in terms of sort of being, it was nice to manage, and has it become more challenging or more easy?
What was the most enjoyable part?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really good question, and I'll answer that in a moment. But I just want to touch on the segmentation between the different sites. And Holland's Workwear in particular is a brand that we can grow and scale, because that was the point that I think I didn't make before. I think there's a lot of growth opportunity there, and there's a potential distraction for us as a business of trying to do too many things. So I think my job is to really develop what we've got going at the moment, and then potentially look for passive additional revenue streams. Because for us, we know online retail is quite turbulent at times, and
Yeah.
it has ups and downs. But to answer your question, like, what's the most enjoyable period? Yeah,
Nice little theme to as you're thinking there.
yeah.
Keep that in.
Yeah, you should keep that. If people listen, there's an ice cream van, and it's quite funny because whatever. Yeah,
It's the start though. You kind of
Yeah.
touched on it earlier on when you're in the grind, right?
I'm thinking about it now. I mean, for me personally, I've enjoyed at times being the operator,
Yeah.
being in the warehouse, picking and packing. And I look back on previous winters. The last 2 winters, I've not been really involved in the operation at all because we hired an operations manager.
Yeah.
So what was happening was I was going in the warehouse at the winter thinking, oh, Matt knows what he's talking about. I'll go in the warehouse.
You don't know what the system.
I'll run the shift,
Yeah.
I'm in charge, and I did know the systems, and I was pretty good at that stuff. But actually, you need to step back and give an expert the reins on stuff like that. But I did really enjoy running the shifts, and it reminded me of my experience at like McDonald's when I was running shifts. I did the graduate program at the Trafford Centre McDonald's, which is like is it Blue Water or something?
Yeah, similar
So
sort of
similar size. Yeah. So high volume consumer goods, like selling bacon and egg McMuffins like hundreds an hour and stuff, and you've got like 50, 60 people on shift. So it's like you get this adrenaline. You get my opinion is a lot of entrepreneurs are like addicts basically.
Yeah.
So you get addicted to this energy.
Sounds like a bit like a trading floor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
All these
yeah.
people buzzing around. "Yeah, over here. You know.
Yeah,
what you
I
do?"
love that, and that I'd say is the thing I've enjoyed most about business at the times is when the operation breaks, when things start to go wrong, and that's when
You like problem solving.
Yeah, I'm really good at solving problems under pressure. The people around me probably don't like maybe the style of it or the approach, or perhaps, but we get shit done basically, and I like that.
Yeah.
But in terms of like where I'm at now, and is that the best bit of business? No, probably not. I think I enjoy all of it. It's been a journey. I've enjoyed the journey.
I think the success comes, right, and we always talk about success monetarily, but the success becomes: do you wake up and you've got a purpose and you're happy and you jump out of bed to do something? And I think that's success.
Well, for me, the definition of success changes, and probably when things have been hard in the business, I've associated success with monetary value, with what my income, my personal outcome of the business has been, what I've taken out. But then now it's like, well, is the thing I'm working on like interesting?
Yeah.
Does it get me out of bed in the morning?
Yeah.
So things change, but then you can only work on that level of success if you've got the money to pay the nursery bill,
Of course, yeah.
to pay for your car, to pay for the house. Do you know what I mean? So
Once you get to a certain level, like
Things
think about the
change.
footballers, right? You know, these guys on half a million a week, right? And then they go to another club for $1 million a week. Do they need that extra?
yeah, do they need it, or do they actually appreciate it? Because I think sometimes you see that with business owners where it's like been from 0 to 100, like as in the business has exploded out of nowhere. And because they've not had that, like, not linear growth, that up and down growth, where they've had the challenges, they don't appreciate the success. And I've been through that. We had tremendous growth. I was earning good money, and then things got hard again. And it's like, oh, wait, now I appreciate that a bit more. And actually, what is success? And it makes you think about those things.
When that happened, do you start to feel like a failure in any way?
100%, yeah. And also, like, I've always, I suppose, like my brother and sister, like as I said earlier on, like are amazing, and like we are a formidable trio because we've got pretty much every skill. But I'm still their leader, whether they admit it or not. You've got the sibling element, which is I'm older than them, perhaps, and there is a bit of sibling rivalry at times, but they do look up to me. I've got more experience, perhaps, so I feel that pressure. I feel a level of responsibility, and when things are not going well in the business, they look at me and they turn to me for kind of like, what
are you going to do?
What do we do, Matt? Like, they might not fully admit, but I think that does happen, and I feel that pressure and I feel that responsibility, and I also feel like I've kind of driven this and created these problems. It's like, Matt's great idea, right? Well, it was a good idea 6 months ago. We're in it now, so come on, let's make it actually work. And sometimes I've created problems for the business.
I think that's the
business.
visionary, right?
Yeah.
That's the visionary, and that's the sort of the yin and yang of it. You know, there's a fine line between an idea that's a genius and an idea that's absolutely a nightmare. You know? So I think that's just part and parcel, part of the course, really.
Yeah, I would say it's something I've really struggled with over the years. That kind of like the pressure of responsibility, and it's impacted me.
Do you feel it for your employees as well? I mean, how many employees you got?
We've got like probably on average on an annualized basis, because it fluctuates for people listening on I mentioned before, on a seasonal basis. We do a lot of volume in the winter and it gets quieter in the summer. We sell clothing, so it is what it is. So we have on average 25 staff. It goes higher in peak, slightly lower in the summer, and then we've got offshore teams as well now. So probably 5 to 15 offshore employees. Again, fluctuates.
I mean, I think that's actually pretty lean for a business doing.
We're very lean. We have to be because of the model.
Yeah.
So we've put a lot of systems, process, automation. We've got slick systems in. We've had proportionately periods of higher labour costs as a percentage of turnover, and I now know we can't have the luxury of having a head of brand or do you know what I mean? We can't have the luxury of paying a dev agency $3,000 a month to build websites. No, we've got to do it ourselves, and we've got to do it efficiently and economically. So, but you learn that through pain and suffering.
Yeah, it's easily done when you start doing well, and you go, oh, well, I'll hire that person, that person, and it's almost like a badge of honour. And then you go, oh God, actually,
and we've like hired people and made mistakes. I mean, people is a challenge in its own right. Like it's not. But to go back to that point about how do I fit it. It's hard. The first episode of my podcast with Tom, when we first started filming it, the title was "Business is Hard." Of that episode, because it is fucking hard. It's not easy, and anyone tells you that it's great, and you speak to some business owners and they lie to your face.
They do.
Which I think is toxic, to be honest with you, because
tell you they're doing well or whatever. And
I'm doing well, or they're driving a fancy car, and it's like, is that real? Like, what is going on?
Got that on tick. And
it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame that we live in a society where that happens, because then it makes people that are maybe struggling or challenging. I mean, I don't feel that way anymore, but sometimes you look at us and you go, God, they must have it good. What's going on? And
that person might give up easily.
And then next minute they've folded and they've given up.
And they could have been amazing.
Yeah, but their car was nice 3 years ago. So is that a sign of success, or is it?
I think
it's not.
As we spoke on the phone very briefly yesterday, and the podcast has sort of evolved as we've done. I don't know, this is probably 22nd, 23rd episode, and what we really want to get into now is the emotion of the business. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I don't know what the up to date stats are, but it's like 95% of business fail in the first year, right? Something like that.
Pretty gnarly, yeah.
Right. So I personally think the crux of that is probably people don't actually know what they're getting into mentally. You know, maybe don't push as hard when times are tough. They start something because they think, I'm going to sell loads of this. They buy the stock, blah, blah, blah. And then how they're going to feel 6 months down the line when they've sold nothing.
Yeah. Or push when things are easy.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. People get comfortable.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, for people that are kind of early on in their entrepreneurial career, if you like, because I think it is a career, it's a roller coaster ride emotionally.
Yeah.
Like that point of like Robert and Sarah, the people I employ, I've had to make people redundant. People have lost their jobs working for me.
And they're almost like family.
Yeah, people that I've employed for a year, 2 years, maybe slightly longer. I mean, so you fail and it's not a nice feeling.
No.
But failure is how you learn.
Yeah.
So actually, like, if you're not failing, are you even trying? Yeah. Like, so you have to hit some kind of velocity where the vehicle is shaking. Otherwise, you're probably not going to be a sustainable business, because you're probably not being competitive with those in your little niche that are doing that. So it's a dangerous game.
This is why I love doing this, because it is therapy, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
And you can't talk to your mate that works in London who's just a broker or something. They just don't get it.
I mean, my view on it is I was quite fortunate in the sense that I think I've always been a bit of because I think business is, you can dress it up how you want, but it's just problem solving.
Yeah.
All it is
all day, every day, no matter how big.
You've got a funnel of and I won't swear, but a funnel of not
Go on.
great stuff, a funnel of shit that you've got to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's just and what you learn over time is that you can't deal with it all at the same time. So you have to pick out, right, I'm going to take that and I'm going to fix that problem. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, that problem's fixed, but 3 new problems unlocked.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I've always been good at problem solving, so I enjoy that. I do enjoy that, but it's stressful. It's painful.
Yeah. You
might think you've fixed the problem, but then a new problem occurs, which is worse, or a fatal problem.
Yeah.
That happens as well. And I've definitely struggled with it over the years. Like I mentioned to you yesterday that I don't drink anymore.
No.
So like personally, for me to be strong in business, and I wouldn't say I had a major alcohol problem, or maybe I did, I don't know. But for me, I had 2 young children. Family's very important to me. And when things have been hard in the business, you have to escape some way through maybe exercise. Yeah. Or maybe some people drink a bit too much, and I mean, I don't, but I know some entrepreneurs have used drugs in the past, and like people end up doing things that they probably shouldn't do. And so for me, alcohol, I used to go to the pub and have a few pints and probably overindulge a little bit. So I've had to like basically protect my own integrity, if you like, and make sure that I have a good balance and that I don't. So I just had to stop drinking. I don't drink anymore. I'm into fitness and I do a bit of running and lift weights and stuff like that. And then I have my business and then I have my family, and I just compartmentalise the 3. But you can very easily end up overindulge. I think business owners we've got addictive personalities, I would say. We're quite all in on things. Or I am anyway.
I know a lot of guys, you know, on the other side of that, they'll get really into the gym and they'll to the point that they're, you know, so obsessed with it, they're ripped, which is obviously great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I said to you yesterday, I wouldn't say I don't drink anymore, but I used to drink maybe twice a week, right? And I go out and I would get pissed.
Yeah, my problem is it all or nothing.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
So anything I do, I'm either in it or I'm not.
Yeah.
That's the...
Yeah. And I think when you have kids, you know, and...
I mean, no one wants to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
No.
Do they?
No,
looking after the kids, and you've got
no.
a stinking hangover.
And you have to fuck up for you to realise
Yes.
that it's important to pick the things that you spend your time doing.
Yeah.
And I made mistakes, and and it was impacting... Drinking was impacting how I conducted myself as a person, and actually I just needed to stop.
Yeah.
So for me, I couldn't do what you do because I couldn't be able to have a little bit of a drink.
When I say a little bit, I'm not drinking, but I might have a glass of wine on holiday with my wife, which is a meal. I wouldn't put myself in a situation where I don't really drink at weddings because that's
the environment.
That's a you know, a 10 out of 10 chance of a session.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
A few pints.
Yeah, exactly. So if it's like, we've just gone out for a meal with my daughter's there. Do you want one red wine? Yeah, okay, I might do.
Yeah.
Why not? I don't know. You know, but I just don't put myself in situations where. Because I was a lightweight anyway. I was the person that I'd have 3 pints, 4 pints. I was on the floor, and everyone's like, "Oh, look at Jefford." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I suppose for me, it's the stress of business, and it was for like alcohol. And I've gone through periods where, because I worked in hospitality when I was younger, and you're having a few beers, you go to uni, and in the UK, the British culture has been drinking for years and years. It's changing now, which is quite nice and refreshing. But yeah, now I go out for beers with people, but I just have a lime and soda. It doesn't bother me.
But I think it's become less of a stigma now.
Yeah.
You know, and people are thinking about like other areas of their life that actually matter a bit more. And obviously like the drinking sort of takes a bit of a backseat.
I've just compartmentalised my life a bit more, and like for me, the things that matter are my wife and kids, having holidays with them, really focus on that. Work is very dominant in my life, and then my fitness and personal development and beer and going for a few pints. It's like, well, if there's an opportunity to have a chat with someone, I'll go, but it's not a priority. Whereas it used to be a coping mechanism, if you like, to deal with the shit of business.
But it's gonna hinder your problem solving abilities.
Exactly, and that's the madness.
And you make mad decisions, don't you? Like,
tired, you're not cognitively functioning fully because you're not hydrated. So I think for you to perform well as a business leader, as an entrepreneur, a business owner at any level, you want to be as healthy as you can be. And my view is, surely, like last year I got into running. So in January last year, again, alongside the podcast, one of the reset things, I was like, I'm going to start doing something different. I'm doing weights, but I'm not doing anything. So I started going running. I'm a big guy, but I was like, and I'm shit at running, so let's have a go at it. And I've run 3 marathons in the last year, so it's like you can do anything to kind of like stem the stress and the pressure, but you do need. I think business owners need something to focus in on.
That's made you healthy. I mean, I would say
I feel fitter and healthier.
I've never met you before, but would you say you've lost weight in the?
I've not lost any weight, but I'm fitter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm healthy.
Probably changed from fat to muscles.
Yeah,
more than
probably.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie was saying that when he was on, he was like, you were trying to get him to go.
Oh, it's so.
Was it 0K Charlie or something?
He's literally saved in my phone as Charlie 0K. And actually, when in my car, when I because hands free, you press them and say call Charlie Smith. It goes calling Charlie 0K. Just every time it makes me laugh. But yeah, me and Charlie, you in business, you end up finding relationships that work for you, and Charlie's a great guy because me and him have got a similar sense of humour, a bit dry, self-deprecating at times, I think if you've not got a healthy lifestyle and you're all in on your business, you do need to go out and do something. I think just have a bit of balance, and we're all guilty. I think business owners are guilty of not having balance.
Oh, definitely. My wife's like, you don't have any hobbies.
Yeah.
And I sort of I push back. I go, well, business is my hobby, and it is. Right, and I think that's valid.
It is mine as well. Yeah.
But also she's right. You do need some. I left school to be a golfer.
Yeah.
And I just don't really play anymore. You know, and I need to get back into that because I loved it. I loved it.
It is those. I'm sure you found you've gone out for a run and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. When that's how you get yourself out of the actual.
There is actually I would say there is. I'm going to be critical of running now. I think running's great, but the counter to that is you don't switch off. So when I go out on my long runs now,
you're thinking all the time.
Yeah. So it's like, is that healthy? I'm not sure it is. Yeah. So I used to do grappling, so like judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I did it for a few years and I stopped, and a few things were going on at the time. Business was hard, and then I got into the running, but I'm actually starting to do that again, and that's great because you can't think about anything else.
Some guys catching the eyes out here.
Exactly. Yeah. So someone's tried to choke you unconscious. My sister Sarah, she's a brown belt now. She'll probably get a black belt soon at some point. She's amazing, but for her, I talked to her about it, and she's like, I do it because it's just.
Yeah,
you can't think about anything else. So I think sometimes find something that actually distracts you from it.
Completely.
Yeah. Running's good, but for someone like me, I use it as a tool to solve problems in a way, which is not great. Yeah. But it is good. Running is great.
I do ice baths, right? Because it's something about jumping into an ice bath. Like your brain just goes, I can't think about anything else because I'm not going to die. But you're almost like your body's like fight or flight mode.
Have you ever tried cryotherapy?
Yeah. I don't think it's as good.
I don't think it's as good. Yeah.
I think I thought, I'm going to get into this. They give you gloves and all that, don't they? And it just they say move around. It just didn't feel as cold. To be honest, I've got a tub at home that's like 2 degrees and I get in. But I also think there's nothing better than just jumping in the sea. And jumping in the lake.
Where'd you stay on cold showers?
I agree. Yeah. Because you turn around, he's hitting you from all different areas. Horrible. At least when you go in a bath, you just submerge yourself.
The first 5 seconds in an ice bath is harder than a cold shower.
Yeah.
But the cold shower's just shit all the way through.
Yeah. It's going, this bit, 10 seconds on your shoulder, then it's 10 seconds on that shoulder.
I haven't got a cold bath, so I just have the cold shower in the morning, and then I do have to give myself a little treat and whack it on the hot to finish off.
Yeah. Should be the other way around.
I do the way around if I'm doing the cold shower, so hot and then cold.
I know, but it's just like, because I literally get in, whack it on, and I just go.
Yeah. So you see, you're getting the pain and suffering, and then no actual positive reward because scientifically they say you have to
end on it, don't you?
You have to end on it, yeah. So you're just torturing yourself unnecessarily.
I've just done 3 years of
Sorry.
No wonder I'm miserable.
I think it's important to look after yourself.
Yeah.
And to have the consciousness to recognise or listen to the people around you that maybe you shouldn't be drinking as much, or maybe you should be a little balanced.
I talked about off camera the dinner that we go to. And there's every month 100 entrepreneurs of different varying success, and it's in the dinner you pay your 100 quid or whatever it is, and it's a free bar. Right? No one drinks.
No one drinks.
No one's drinking.
Yeah.
Which normally in England it'd be like free bar, lovely, let's get hammered. No one's drinking.
I know a few people that have been to the dinner.
Yeah.
For people listening, we're down in, is it Southend on?
Yeah, we're in Essex.
Essex, yeah. So I'm up in Manchester direction, so I don't go to the dinner, but
Yeah,
I know a
of
few people that have travelled down for it, and I would imagine if you are a drinker as an entrepreneur going to that event, you'd probably be a bit of an alien, really.
Yeah.
From what I've heard. But it's a sign of the room, I suppose.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very. Everyone is. I think because Will, who basically hosts it, is so big on personal development. I think people have kind of gravitated towards that.
That's great,
And
yeah.
he instills that in a lot of people, and that's
Yeah.
in the WhatsApp group and stuff like that. He puts on a lot of messages about that, and so I think that's probably what kind of galvanizes everyone in that kind of.
I think we're
capacity.
having a bit of a movement in society away from drinking as well. I mean, I know a couple of guys that own bars and stuff, and they're just like, they're not necessarily seeing a downturn. They're seeing a downturn in alcoholic beverages.
Consumption,
And people go in and they'll buy like a zero beer or something.
I really enjoy going for a drink and just drinking sparkling water.
Yeah.
Like, that's my little boring thing that I do in it.
Yeah.
It's great. The society is changing, 100%. But I think that whole dinner environment, that what's his name, Will Polson. Yeah. I've not had much interaction with him.
He's on next week, actually, isn't he?
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks.
I'll have to listen to that because he's got his own podcast.
He has,
That's
yeah.
right,
He's done a lot of episodes.
Yeah. Is it on YouTube? Or,
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of bits. He seems like a very
Switched on guy, yeah. Very much so.
And I like that kind of personal development kind of approach to business and life. And it's James Martin as well. That's
right, yeah. Local guys.
But the value of that is you've got a room of like-minded other business owners, and sometimes I think. So I'm in a network near where I am called Roundtable, and that's a paid thing where when we do it, it's actually really good because it's remote. So I go on a video call every other Thursday, and we just talk about what is going on in the businesses, if anyone's got any moan, and then you do this thing called Town Square where someone comes with a problem and people just chip in with thoughts, and it's really good to get in a positive environment like that, I think.
Yeah.
To speak to other businesses about your problems.
I think you just need that help. You need that to gather momentum, to help you. You can't do everything on your own.
No.
No. So
You're talking about shit hitting the fan.
Yeah.
You can't really have the conversation without your
Yeah.
incident a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we.
Super shit hitting the fan.
Yeah. I mean, basically, the pandemic period for a lot of businesses was like boom and bust. And we as a business went through tremendous growth before the pandemic. So we were doing like doubling of turnover on an annualized basis. That was pretty crazy. And then the pandemic hit, and then supply chain issues happened. And we just went through a period where we were just not making any money. And I think
through lack of sales, yeah.
not lack of sales, we're doing a lot of revenue, but the gross profitability had been compressed.
Squashed, yeah.
Because what happened in the post-pandemic period in 22, 23, the price that everyone was paying for product, consumers, retailers, went up, but the price the consumer was willing to pay stayed the same. So the gross profit margin was compressed, and we're all in business where I don't think there's many businesses with a very strong net profitability. Most businesses are netting 5 or 10%. Remarkably, it seems very similar regardless of
Yes,
the
it does.
industry.
Yeah, I think you listen to James Sinclair's podcast. It's like, what do you make? And everyone is like the magic 5-10%. Yeah,
exactly. So
no matter what industry they're in.
Exactly. So what happens is you all of a sudden have a really great profitable business that's been trading for years, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, where's our margin gone? And that happened to us. We were in a big industrial unit. We'd been growing strongly, and we'd probably made a few errors, and it didn't go well for quite a while, and it was painful. Yeah, it was probably 2 years of real struggle, not taking any money out of the business. I had 2 kids in nursery. I had to borrow money personally. Like, it was hard. And you've got to make a decision personally, is am I in this for the long haul or am I not? And I mean, we went all in, me, Rob and Sarah, we kind of just went after it, and we really, and actually the reason we're so profitable and we're so cash generative now, and you were like, God, that's a low number of staff for the turnover you're doing, it's because we've learned that we need a lean business. We need to protect that net profitability.
You
we
absolutely
need to
do.
look after every pound.
Yeah.
Like when you see someone driving the latest Land Rover Defender that's on company finance, it's like, okay,
Really?
it might be good now,
Yeah.
but it might not be good all the time. And that's the biggest thing I've learned. So we had to do something called a pre-pack. So we had to get out of the lease in our old commercial unit because we were in a 10-year lease and they wouldn't let us out. So we had to pre-pack the business, and we had some debt with the banks that we had to basically let go of. And we paid all our trade creditors and moved everything over, and we didn't lose a single supplier. We did it the right way, but we did it the right way because we could, because we chose to do it. Our cash flow projections weren't looking great, and we were just like, you know what, we need to fix this before we get to that point.
Right.
So the consumer would not have seen any of this, right?
No. Yeah, it was. I would say, actually, looking back now, it's probably something I'm very proud of, like how we managed it and how we did it. And it's a very, I think for some business owners, it'd be they wouldn't want to talk about it on a podcast.
Yeah.
But it's the reality of business. Like sometimes things fail, and if people aren't willing to honestly talk about that, think about that. Like we should talk about those things.
I think it's
You make mistakes.
What do they say?
You
It's
fail.
like limiting belief. You know, there's something in the background. You don't want to talk about that. What's stopping you from having that openness?
Yeah. And sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, like, all social media, like, I've just become of the belief that everything on social media is just take with a pinch of salt, because it's just not the truth. People put up posts and all this stuff of themselves at their absolute best. And, you know, like, sometimes we were talking to Charlie about this, actually, you know, you put up you're turning over 2 million quid, and then all of a sudden people just think that you earn 2 million quid, you know, or whatever. They don't really see everything that goes on besides this. Like you say, you know, people probably go, wow, they're turning over that amount, but they're only making 5 or 10%, which is crazy. But that's the reality of the situation.
And a lot of, I think that's the challenge of having employees. Some employees aren't. I mean, I try and share how we're doing as a business with my team and myself, but ultimately they don't necessarily. Some people don't get that, and even some business owners, they think, "Oh yeah, what are you doing? You're doing 15 million quid. God, Matt, why are you not driving a Ferrari? What's going on?" Well, because I'm being sensible. So, and because
I can only drive it for 6 months, I've got to give it back.
and it's a depreciating asset, and
I've never been into cars.
I think we all become boring as entrepreneurs, and you do it after you get your fingers burnt a few times. In my eyes, I look back on that period fondly as a challenge and a massive learning curve. And the interesting thing coming out of that, the last 3 or 4 years, has been a real period of, like, I had to find my confidence again and believe in myself, because the people around me, like, they were looking at me as the leader in the business and going, fucking hell, what's going on, Matt? Why is it? And I was like, well, no, we need to keep doing this. We need to keep doing, and actually now those things that we were talking about doing, they were the right things. And that's why you're able in the UK to pre-pack a business and do a Phoenix and do those things, is because some businesses genuinely do have the capability of going again. They've just made mistakes. So that's what happened with us. And oh boy, have we paid a load of corp tax and VAT since then. So HMRC have been paid.
Yeah, they're happy with you.
Yeah, they're happy. Yeah, I joke with Charlie on our podcast. We should have they should launch a loyalty scheme. So I think
You should get a discount on your next load.
well, no, not a discount, but some kind of, like, I don't know. You know, like, you get little like, I don't know, gold stars.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know, like Shopify.
Yeah.
Orders you get, right? Well, I want a little plaque.
Yeah, I've given
I
this
paid
amount.
this amount, or maybe a counter. You know, the Shopify counter.
Yeah.
Have that for tax. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be, actually.
Obviously, that was an extremely tough period. In terms of your approach, has that made you be more cautious, or is that you kind of just thought, well, nothing's going to be as bad as that, so I'll just go?
Probably initially more cautious. I think what it's allowed us to do is improve the quality of the decision making in the business. We've maybe become less reactionary, so we think more before we take actions. I would say, we've slowed down slightly in terms of, like, decision making, but I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And actually, when you get to being a medium or large size small business, you kind of need to do that. You need to protect the fortress a little bit, and actually you do need to go a little bit slower. But then you do need to keep innovating and challenging the status quo. And so, yes and no. I would say the first 12 months after that, yes. Now I'm kind of trying to go for
the
it
dust has
again.
settled in.
But the difference is we're very strong financially now.
Right.
Got a lot of cash behind us. We're in a strong position, and we've got different voices on the board, and we're doing things the right way now.
So you didn't have to get there's no case of getting investors in or anything after that.
No, we did it all. We put money back in
Right.
into Newco, and yeah, it's gone well.
Happy days.
Yeah.
And mentally, it affected you. I mean, you should be pretty proud of that, right?
I to the point where
It's not a long time, is it?
No,
I mean,
it's
you're
like
talking
4
about
years.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
right?
So for me, it's probably my biggest achievement in business, going through that period, surviving it, and then having a really good, profitable business now. And it's not without pain and suffering.
Yeah.
Like the reality is, it was hard.
Yeah.
Like I questioned myself. I was challenged and questioned. Like I had, not
It's
easy.
those sort of numbers, like you would assume it's over a 20 year 20 year period.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. So, I mean, for that to be just after COVID.
I mean,
that's
two years
great.
ago, 2 years ago, we were doing maybe 6-7 million quid turnover. So the business has almost doubled again in that period. So it's gone through, but we've really focused on cost control. So when a business is growing, it's very easy to become fat.
Yeah.
And I think being lean as a business is something that you need to be constantly. You almost need to grow a little bit, put a bit of weight on,
Yeah.
and then you need to trim it back down.
Yeah.
And you need to get. And you see this in big tech firms at the moment. They go for a growth and expansion, and then you see them making a load of redundancy and cuts. And the reason why is they're trying to get rid of some of the less productive employees. And unfortunately, in a ruthless way, you've got to do that. But I do it more on like IT costs and things like that operationally, and trying to work at like we've set a company up in India and. We've had to offshore certain roles because maybe the technical capability within the UK, the expertise, it's just not there anymore. So we've gone offshore, and also the cost saving as well. It's more efficient, and entrepreneurs will solve the problems that they're putting in, and like the government and HMRC and things like that, and what they're doing to businesses at the moment. Businesses will find a way, or they won't exist. So there's the businesses that don't exist, they won't employ people.
Yeah.
And the businesses that do survive, they'll find a way, which might mean the jobs go offshore, or they get automated, or they get replaced with AI. So HMRC doesn't win by making it harder, in my opinion.
No, they don't. Innovate or evaporate.
That's the one.
Innovator, who is that?
That's James Sinclair.
Sinclair, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, there we are.
It's always him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming down, mate.
Really appreciate it.
Thank
I've
you.
enjoyed
Yeah,
that.
it's been great
Really,
conversation.
I was looking forward to it, and you didn't disappoint, mate.
There we are. That's good.